In the meantime, President Biden set to push for police reform in his address tonight as violent crime spikes in Democrat-run cities across the country. Republican Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana is a member of the Judiciary Committee and joins us now. Senator, always great to see you. As we anticipate this first speech that President Biden will deliver to a joint session of Congress, although obviously limited still because of the pandemic, it'll look a little bit different. What could President Biden say to the American people tonight to bring some sense of calm or perhaps clarity to this administration's plan to deal with this problem?
Well, if the president wants to solve this problem, he would tell some of my Democratic colleagues to back off some of their bonehead ideas. And I don't expect him to do that. No one in the Senate believes that police should not be punished for misbehavior. The issue is qualified immunity. Some of my Democratic colleagues, not all, but some, believe that we ought to make it incredibly easy to sue a cop successfully into making pay. I swear, sometimes this place is like high school, but nobody graduates. Any blockhead's brother knows that that idea is going to get people killed. You want to have your police officers properly trained and able to act and react instantaneously to save other people's lives and their lives. You don't want them to hesitate and go, oh my God, if I get this wrong, I'm going to be sued and they're going to take my home and they're going to take my car. That's how foolish that is. And that is the sticking point. That's the only sticking point. I don't care what anybody says. If my Democratic friends would back off of that and get out of la land, we could solve this problem.
Well, he is expected to address that in some form tonight. To Stephen Miller's point in the last segment, perhaps there will be some surprises. We just don't know yet. But I want to read to you some of the president's words in a phone call with 7 news anchors that happened today. There was a portion on the record, I believe his opening remarks on the record. And from them, I'll read you just a small portion of this, where President Biden says, quote, "Everybody talks about, can I do anything bipartisan? Well, I got to figure out," he says, "if there's a party to deal with. We need a Republican Party, and we need another party," he said, whatever you call it, "that's unified, not completely splintered and fearful of one another." How do you respond to that?
Well, it sounds like the president is speaking in tongues again. I'm not sure what his point is. If he's asking for bipartisanship, that's a two-way street. I mean, when the president, I've said this before, when the president says he wants to meet us halfway, it always turns out that he's a very poor judge of districts. I've never even met the president. I have a lot of colleagues who are new that they've never met him. Every now and then he invites a few Republicans to the White House for coffee and White House cookies, but that's about it. His strategy, I think, so far, and will continue to be, he just wants to ram this down the American people's throat and their representatives' throats. And I'm not expecting much tonight. I think he could do a speech tonight in 30 seconds.
And what's that?
I think he could walk in and say, "I'm President Biden. Thank you for coming. Here's my message. We can't spend too much. And number 2, I expect you all to surrender every bit of your money and your freedom to Washington. Thank you very much. Now go home and watch Netflix." He could do it in less than a minute. That's going to be the summation. That is the summation of his speech tonight.
Real quickly, Senator, on that, when you look at the economics of these plans that he has laid out, obviously a massive amount of spending that he is planning, and he tells the American people that only the rich will have to pay for this. What do you say to that? Will the average American pay for this? Will the average American see their taxes go up as a result of his plans?
I say, number 1, you should not make tax policy on the basis of class. You ought to make tax policy on the basis of sound economic principles. And I say, number 2, whoever is telling that to the president was playing Frisbee on the lawn during Econ 101, because that's just not true. The corporate income tax, the capital gains tax, the death tax, all the taxes, I don't have time to list all of them, that he wants to raise are going to be paid by everybody, including the working poor.
All right, Senator Kennedy, we await that address to the joint session of Congress tonight. It'll be happening. We'll listen for it. We appreciate you joining us just ahead of it. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Sandra.
All right.